Alright, so we're going to finish with the non-calculator, so no calculators here. Alright, so find the exact value of each trigonomic function, no calculator. Okay, so first thing I'm going to look at, well, tangent of theta. Here's the theta that we want to use, so we're using this angle. So I know that tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. Adjacent. Well, so if I look at my figure right here, well, I need a triangle first, right? Okay, so I'm going to make a triangle going down. Always draw your triangle towards the x-axis. So if I make this triangle right here, I get a right triangle. And then I just need to know what this angle is. Well, this angle right here, if this is negative 330, this one's going to have to be 30 degrees. Okay, well then this one has to be 60 degrees. So now I have a special right triangle, a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And again, you should know these ratios of the special triangles. I'm not going to go over them in detail here because we went over them a lot in class. So if you need to know how to know the sides of a special right triangle of a 30, 60, 90 triangle, I suggest that you find a video that does that. Okay, really quickly though, in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the hypotenuse is always double the shortest side. So the shortest side, which is the side across from 30 degrees, opposite to 30 degrees, is always going to be half of the hypotenuse. And then if you use Pythagorean theorem, you'll find that this side right here is going to be square root of 3. Okay, so that should be a very quick setup. Okay, and then tangent, we're going to use this triangle right here. We're going to use our reference angle, always use the reference angle, and then opposite over adjacent. Opposite here is going to be 1, adjacent is going to be root 3. So tangent is going to be equal to 1 divided by root 3. Remember that we do not want that in the denominator, so multiply top and bottom by root 3. So we're going to get root 3 divided by 3 as our answer. Okay, go to the next one. We have sine. Sine is going to be equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, well I need a triangle. Let's make one. So make it to the x-axis. Find your reference angle. If this is 315, this is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, well this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the side lengths, the legs, are a ratio of 1 to 1, and the hypotenuse is square root 2 by the Pythagorean theorem. Now, also keep in mind that since we're on a coordinate plane, any of these legs that move downward are going to be negative. Any of the legs that move to the left are also going to be negative. Any legs that are up are going to be positive. Okay, so this should be negative is all I'm saying right here. Okay, and then we want sine. So sine of this angle, use opposite over hypotenuse. So this one is going to be equal to negative 1 divided by root 2. Again, I got a root 2 in the denominator, multiply top and bottom by root 2. So then I get negative root 2 divided by 2, and there's my answer. Okay, on to the next. So we have 5 pi over 4. So in radians, this would be 4 pi over 4, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this would be 4 pi over 4, so this would be 1 pi over 4. So this angle right here is pi fourths, which is equivalent to 45 degrees. So if I make a triangle right here, I have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And again, that's 1, 1, square root 2. Both of these are going to be negative because this is in the negative x and this is in the negative y. Cosecant is the reciprocal to sine, so this is going to be the hypotenuse divided by the opposite. Okay, and then so the hypotenuse, which is root 2. By the way, the hypotenuse is always positive, so root 2 divided by the opposite, and opposite to this one is negative 1. So you can simplify that to be negative root 2. There's your answer. Okay, going here. Well, we already had negative 330, like we did in 19. So this is going to be the same triangle. You're going to put it here. Your reference angle is going to be 30 degrees. This is going to be 60. This is going to be 1. That's going to be 2. This is going to be root 3. We want sine. Sine is opposite over the hypotenuse. So that's going to be 1 divided by 2. There you go. For 23, 60 degrees. Make a triangle down. Alright, so we got 30, 60, 90. This one's going to be 30. This angle right here is going to be 60. And then this one's 90. So I know that the hypotenuse has to be 2 and the shortest side has to be 1, because in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the hypotenuse is always double the shortest side, and then the other side is going to be root 3 by the Pythagorean theorem. Secant is equal to the hypotenuse divided by the adjacent, and so the hypotenuse here is 2. The adjacent side is 1, so this is equal to 2. Alright, cosecant. Right here, I know that this is 180, so 180 to 210 is 30 degrees. That's what the difference is. So therefore, we have another 30, 60, 90. So this is 30, this is 60, this is 90. The hypotenuse is 2. The shortest side is going to be 1. This one's going to be negative root 3. Okay? And then we want cosecant. Cosecant is the hypotenuse divided by the opposite, and so that's going to be the hypotenuse is 2, and then the opposite is 1. So this one's going to be 2. Okay, here. So this is in radians. So 7 pi, negative 7 pi. So this half is going to be 6 pi, and so this is going to be 1 more pi over 6. This will be 6 pi over 6. We need 1 more, so this is going to be pi 6. And pi over 6 is equivalent to 30 degrees. So I know that this angle right here is 30. This right here is 60. Okay, and then so we have 30, 60, 90, 2, 1. This is going to be negative root 3. Secant is the hypotenuse over the adjacent. So the hypotenuse is 2. The adjacent is negative root 3. We have a root in the denominator, so just multiply by the same root. So we get 2 root 3 divided by negative 3. There you go. Alright, here we have another 30, 60, 90. So again, pi 6 is going to be 30 degrees. This is 11. A full wraparound would be 12, so we're missing 1. So this is pi 6 or 30 degrees. So here we got 30, this one's going to be 60, we have 2, we've got negative 1, and this is root 3. Sine is opposite over the hypotenuse, and the opposite side is negative 1, the hypotenuse is 2, so negative 1/2 would be the answer. Okay, alright, this one's probably going to be the trickiest one here. So tangent of theta here, so notice that the angle is drawn to the negative y-axis. Again, if you were to take any point on this line and draw, and you have to draw straight down, I can't draw to the right, I can't draw to the left, it always has to be straight down to the x-axis. Well, in this case right here, that puts my, that doesn't really give me a triangle. Or you think about it like a triangle, but the sides are really weird. In this case, x would be equal to 0 because we have no direction left or right. Y would be equal to negative 1, and r is always going to be 1. So we've done a lot of explanations in class, but if you want to look up more videos on this, then you can, but I really don't have time to go through a detailed explanation. And tangent is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. If you're using variables like x, y, and r, opposite is always referred to as the y, and the adjacent is always referred to as the x. Okay, so then in this case, y is going to be negative 1, x is 0. This is an undefined expression, so that would be the answer right there. Okay, excuse me. Alright, cosecant of theta, 315. This right here is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so then this is also going to be 45. We have 1, this would be negative 1, this is going to be root 2. Cosecant is equal to the hypotenuse divided by opposite. So the hypotenuse is going to be root 2, opposite is going to be negative 1. We have negative root 2 as our answer. Alright, 29, we have pi 6. That's pretty easy given to us right there. So this is 30, This is 60. So we have 2, we got 1, we got root 3 right here. Secant is equal to the hypotenuse divided by the adjacent. So the hypotenuse is 2, the adjacent is root 3. So multiply by root 3, so we get 2 root 3 divided by 3. Last but not least, we got cosecant theta. So this right here is going to be pi fourths. This is 7 pi fourths. This would be 8 pi fourths in total. Because this has to have 4, this has to have 4, so 4, 8, and then we're 1 shy, so this is pi fourths or 45 degrees. So this right here is 45, this right here is 45. So we have 1, negative 1, and we have root 2. And cosecant is, why do we have so many of these? Hypotenuse over, we didn't have any cotangents, whatever. Hypotenuse over opposite. So hypotenuse is going to be root 2, opposite is going to be negative 1, so this is going to be negative root 2. It's the same as this one right here, because these are the same angles. So 315 is 7 pi 4, so they're actually the same. Okay, so that wraps it up, guys. Sorry that's quick, but I just don't have a lot of time, so I have to make it quick. And yeah, I hope it helps. Let me know if you have any questions.